Once again, joining us today is Warren Winder, founder of Tuff Luck Apparel and also a firefighter. Welcome to the show.
Hey, yeah, first and foremost, thank you guys for having me on. It's really cool to be able to do something like this.
Awesome. No, we definitely appreciate you making time for us. I'm Kevin.
And I'm your co-host, Brian.
So yeah, Warren, you have a very interesting background doing firefighting as well as running a clothing brand. So like, how did you like balance the two? What made you want to start a clothing brand while firefighting?
Yeah, it's kind of a long answer. The clothing thing I actually started before I got into the fire service, but it's just been kind of back and forth, like up and down with its success. And a lot of that is for the printing methods that we chose. So I started Tuff Luck back in like 2019. And I bought actually what's called a DTG printer. It's like a giant digital printer. Like you actually load shirts into it. And it would print almost like a regular printer that you have like on a piece of paper.
Right.
So it's really great for small runs because instead of setting up like a large screen print run where you're doing, 5, 6 colors and you have to make a different screen for all that, it could kind of just go through and zap it onto a shirt. So it's actually really cool. However, just like a real printer, like mine's always breaking, and this was it was no exception. It broke all the time. It was a huge headache. So during 2020, when COVID hit and everyone was locked in, there was kind of like this big e-commerce boom. Like everyone was ordering stuff online, and we were riding that wave actually pretty good. But then my printer broke, and I did fix it a couple times. Like I would order parts and like go on YouTube and try and figure it out. And it worked actually pretty well for a while. And then it just continued to break, and it was costing me way more money than I was making. So I put Tuff Luck on the shelf. I shelved it. And then during this time as well, during 2020, I was also pursuing a career in the fire service. So that took a lot of my time. I did everything like working on an ambulance, construction, and yeah, sorry, I'm getting long-winded now, but I just started it as a hobby, and it kind of started taking off. And now that I'm more settled into my fire career, I'm just trying to get it going again.
So how do you like being a firefighter? Was that something where when you were a little kid, like 5, 6 years old, were you telling all your buddies, oh, I'm going to grow up and be a firefighter? Was it like that? Or was it something that you just kind of like fell into at a certain point?
Yeah. And it's a kind of a long story again, but no, I had no intentions of being a firefighter, even when I graduated high school. Like, just a lot of the job, there's things on it that didn't attract me to doing firefighting back in the day. But kind of the story I've told people before in the past is, I was hitting my mid-20s, as a guy, and I was, trying to look at my life 3-dimensionally and seeing, who am I, what am I doing, and, what am I giving back? So one of my good buddies actually was a fireman in Arizona, and I kind of had like 2 different friend groups, right? I had one that was like, big drinkers and like potheads, not doing much. And then I had like another friend group that was, like firefighters or like pilots, like doing cool stuff, in my opinion. So essentially I just kind of made a choice and made a crossroad and was like, I want to do something and, have a cool career, give back kind of thing. So I just kind of contacted him. This is when I was probably like 26 or 27. And then I was living in San Diego at the time and kind of just went down that route. I really think through my friend, kind of seeing what he was doing.
So I know like the schedule of firefighting can be kind of unpredictable. So like, how do you balance that with running your clothing business?
Yeah, we have a really unique schedule, and honestly, it's actually great to leverage for a second job. And a lot of firefighters that I work with do have second jobs, everything from running construction companies to hanging Christmas lights. Yeah, I mean, and the reason being, at my department, we're on a 48-96. So we're on for 2 days and then we're off for 4. So that's a very common schedule. I think there's some East Coast places, they're going like 1 day on, 3 off. So they're doing a 24-72. And then when I was working back in San Diego on the ambulance, like San Diego Fire did this, they do like day on, day off, and then they repeat that for a while. Then they get a 4-day break, and then they do that again, and then they get like a 6-day break. So all in all the schedules kind of come out to working about 10 days a month, but they're 24 to 48-hour shifts normally.
Okay, so you have a bit of extra time every week where you could devote to some type of side hustle, sounds like.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of where Tough Luck fits back in. Like I said, it's been up and down. Like I've had good years and I've had really poor years with it. So it's kind of like my biggest passion. I want to get that going again right now, like outside of firefighting. So yeah, my schedule allows me to leverage that. And I have done my own like side, like handyman business and construction and stuff like that. But I really like making shirts a lot.
So like, what do you think happened in those great years versus the lean years? Like, why do you think you had so much more success in certain years than others?
It's really all because of printing, honestly. Like I feel like if my printing production would have stayed in 2020, like sometimes I kick myself because I feel like it could have blown up into something big and it kind of didn't. We kind of just stalled out. And a lot of that's on me, right? As an owner, like you get thrown curveballs and you need to find a way out of it. And I
Right.
didn't. I kind of just like, oh, I'll get to this later. And yeah, now as I get things rolling again, I would just say I'm outsourcing a lot more now, and just as a business owner, you're doing so much. So like all the social media, like I'm making all my own edits and mock-ups for shirts, all outreach with any like small influencers or people that I want to wear my shirts on social media. So like finally, instead of trying to do everything, I'm outsourcing a lot more of the printing now. I screen printed for a while, like single color runs. I taught myself how to do that because the
Right.
digital printer wasn't working. So yeah, sorry, to get back to your original question, I think that's really what held me back was execution and printing ability for sure.
How did you get into screen printing to begin with?
YouTube. I went on YouTube and then Facebook Marketplace, and I figured out everything I needed to buy. And I just went and started hustling around, like buying screens. I bought this big like light to expose the screens, and like yeah, just ordered online, all the emulsion and things like that I needed. And even back here, actually, this is the first screen I made. It came out really horrible and the lines are like totally trash. But yeah, I just was like, I'm big on like trial and error. I think you can learn a lot of things if you're just willing to do like 1,000 reps. So I got pretty
Yeah,
good at.
well, it's incredible. You think about YouTube. Like I was born in 87. I'm 39.
Okay.
I didn't grow up with YouTube. So, and I'm a drummer. So like to learn songs back then when I first started when I was 14, you just put on, the record or the tape or the CD and you listen to it and then you listen to it again and then
Yeah.
again and again and again. And eventually you figure it out. But now it's like, I think back to if when I started at 14, had I had YouTube, it would have been a game changer because I would have known exactly what the drummer's doing at exactly what time. And I probably could have just like sped up my process that much more. So I feel like kids now, they don't know what they have, because I always tell my students, like, look, I did not grow up with YouTube. I had to listen over and over and over to tracks just to learn them. So YouTube is a game changer for sure.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Now it's like anytime you come to a crossroads of something, you're like, I could probably figure this out on YouTube.
So like, what would you say? Because a lot of times when we watch these videos on YouTube, sometimes the advice works, but other times it doesn't. So like, which of the advice that you've gleaned from YouTube and other social media actually worked for you, and which ones didn't really apply to your situation?
Oh man, that is another great question. And I could answer it in two ways, like with printing and also my firefighting career. And I'll try and make it short. I know I'm getting a little long-winded here. But yeah, so let's talk printing, for example. Like I've been on YouTube before and I've watched interviews with other companies, and that was actually how I chose to buy the digital printer, which seems like a good idea if you're doing small runs. Again, you could do like multiple colors and you could kind of print shirts out as orders come in. So
Right.
technically your overhead's like maybe a little bit lower. So like if you buy like, for example, a bad design that doesn't sell, like you're not sitting on 100 shirts or 1,000 shirts of inventory. Like now it's just like, all right, I could just pocket that on my laptop and just keep printing what comes in. But again, the trade-off for that I figured out was like the printer that I bought was like it malfunctioned too much and it cost me too much time and money. And maybe that was on me for not doing enough research, on what printer to buy. So there's like good and bad with all advice, and so at the end of the day, you have to like take some advice, but you also have to, have your own journey and figure out what works for you. Right. So There's a lot. And then just real quick to tie in firefighting, in case there's anyone out there that wants to take advice on that, like same for interview questions. There's a lot of good advice online on YouTube, and then there's like not so good. So if you're in the fire service or you want to get in, I would go to the department that you want to go to, and maybe make some calls and like go hang out with the men and women on that crew, and they can give you probably better advice that you could find, because YouTube is like very generalized. So my point with this is go somewhere you want to work specifically, and you can get better advice that way.
Right.
So it was a great point that you mentioned, that man, I forgot what I was about to say. What was that? Man, my mind is slipping me today.
Long
yeah,
day, huh?
you mentioned, a little bit of a long day. But yeah, you mentioned,
Yeah.
you mentioned you started outsourcing after like doing everything yourself, and like with our brand Coder Convos, we're going to printify, kind of a third party. What made you want to do it more so in-house versus like just completely third party?
Oh man, and this too, like this just happened today. Like I like doing things myself because like I'm kind of a control freak. Like I like seeing and making sure everything comes out the way that I want it, because running an apparel brand or whatever it is else that you're doing, like your name's on the line. So for me, like I want my shirts to look a certain way. So like I'm working with a really great company now, but even today I just got a shipment that I'm making live on my website tonight, but a lot of the pockets came out wrong. Like they're too small. They're not what I ordered. So that's a huge reason why I like doing things myself, and I have a lot of trouble outsourcing. I mean, they're great because it frees me up time, and I don't have to buy, have this huge printer in my house. But
Yeah, that's right.
yeah, there's just little things like that at the end of the day, things are good, but it's just like, no, I got to go fix that. And I had to pull some shirts off my website that didn't come in correct. So.
Well, that's a really nice drawing in the background. Is that something you drew, or did you like?
No, so all
outsource
this right here, this is all
yeah.
art. I outsource that too. Like all the art I buy through people I've met on social media.
Awesome.
And I get like full rights to the artwork, and then I'm able to print that and use it how I want. So yeah, that's a big like tapestry I ordered online just for the garage.
Is that pretty expensive to buy people's work? Like to buy it outright so you could just make prints of it?
It can be. Like I think I pay normally anywhere between like $100 and $150 per logo.
Okay, yeah, that's a little bit cheaper than I thought, because like if somebody, usually when they completely give over the rights, I would think they would charge like 500 or something, but 100 ain't bad.
Yeah,
That's not bad. I'm just not bad.
Sometimes too, like when I've worked with like tattoo artists that want to draw stuff up, like yeah, they definitely could charge a lot more than some of the people I've met online. But I'm buying art from like all over the world. Like this artist
wow.
here is based out of Brazil, so.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's smart.
Yeah.
Like what does the contract look like that you sent them? Is something that kind of like you just pulled up a template and sent it to them, or did you go through a lawyer to craft that up for you?
No, I probably should. It's all just through Instagram being like, can I use this? And yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, hopefully that's all right. I don't know. Maybe I'll get a message tomorrow that I'm being sued or something.
Yeah, that was something that we always had in the back of our mind, because we were thinking about doing the same thing, going third party and hiring some people, but we always wondered, are they going to pop up later like, oh, you owe me a percentage?
Yeah, right.
That's my artwork.
Yeah, dang, you're right. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to ask you guys some questions after this off air or something, and you can guide me. I haven't thought that far ahead.
So you who are some of your favorite artists to work with? Like you mentioned a guy out of Brazil, or were there any particular artists who were great that you commissioned multiple pieces from them?
Yeah, Leo Furious is like my go-to. He did this here. There's another guy in Brazil named Bruno Old, I think is his Instagram handle. I could try and find that and confirm. Those are like my two go-to. I'd say they've done like 90% of my artwork. Yeah, and I have them tagged in my Instagram a lot too if people want to go look at that. And then yeah, for like American artists, I really love like Tim Howell. He hasn't done any of my drawings, but yeah, like Tim Howell, Jake Doney. They're like guys, a lot of times I'll like use their artwork as references.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
let's just say, like, you created a couple of really cool pieces. It has a nice design. Like, how do you make sure that transfers over to people actually wanting to buy it? Like, I know marketing is critical.
Yeah, and I'm still trying to figure that out a lot, honestly. Like, I'm not like a huge company that's selling like, thousands of parcels per month. Like, I'm still trickling. Like, I always joke like I'm making tens of dollars. So, I'm still trying to figure that out, but a lot of it is like momentum built. So like for me, my company, it's like I'll go really hard on marketing for a while, and then I'll have like a big 3 or 4 month gap. So I'm trying to close that all up now. Like I have this release today, and I'm trying to have another release like right behind it, and like paying for ads and doing all that kind of stuff. I think I trailed off again. What was the original question?
I think I was asking you, how do you make sure that this transfers over to sales? Like, okay, you have this cool design that
Oh
doesn't
yeah.
always necessarily
Right.
turn into
Right.
money.
Yeah, sorry, and I got long-winded again here, but yeah, I don't know. Like a lot of it is, me as the owner and buyer of the artwork. I'm always like, yeah, this is pretty sick. It's gonna sell, and then I go
Right.
to post it and it doesn't. So again, trial and error, and that was the beauty in doing smaller runs before. It was like things can flop, and I'm like okay with it. But now, with screen printing, buying like larger orders, kind of bite you in the ass a
Yeah.
little bit more.
That's the thing. I mean, I think back to some of my earlier bands when I was like maybe 17, 18 years old. We would, have a third party print up the, screen printing, print up all the shirts with the, couple different designs. And we'd have to order a lot. Like we'd have to order, like 50 smalls, 100 medium, so then
Yeah.
you get this huge bulk of quantity. And then maybe people don't really like it, and then you're sitting on all of this merch. So I kind of I get what you're saying about doing the smaller runs, kind of testing the water, seeing, throwing stuff at the wall, seeing what sticks.
Yeah, and that's the trade-off, right? Is like when you're doing larger runs, like the shirt cost comes down so much, so you can make a much bigger profit on it. But again, the devil's advocate for that is like you might not be able to move them. So yeah, just for the people listening out there, those are like kind of your two options is like DTG. They have DTF too, which is like those plastic vinyl transfers where you just like heat press on, but they don't last as well. So DTG is like smaller runs, but the cost is higher to make, and inverse that with screen printing.
So, like in terms of working with a third party company, let's just say Printify versus printing like buying a bunch of shirts on yourself and printing them yourself, like how much are you saving just by doing it yourself versus going with that third party company?
Oh man, that's a good question. So even still now, like my third party company is like I buy and own all my inventory. Like I go through it all when it gets here, and like I'll wash test stuff and make sure it doesn't wash out. And then when I was doing it myself, like besides the upfront printer costs, like technically, like you can get blanks, like $5 for blanks, and then your ink costs, like even with the DTG printer, I'm sure it was like I think it was like $2 or $3 for like a front and back print. So you can make a shirt, for under $10, sell it for
Wow.
30, and yeah, just keep that going. And then hoodies are even more markup, and you could start doing hats and stuff. Like I don't know, there's so many different ways you can go about it. But yeah, those are again the two different trade-offs.
What do you like selling the most? Hats, shirts, hoodies, jerseys?
I like shirts. Shirts have been like my bread and butter. I do like doing sweatshirts as well when fall's in. I always get like kind of excited because I like a big oversized hoodie, and I always make those every year. So
Awesome.
yeah, when fall comes around too, I'll hook you guys up. I'll send you something out there. And yeah, you
Awesome.
can let me know what you think, because I'm always trading out like my blanks and stuff too. I'm always trying to like find the best product, and again, it's just a lot of trial and error to figure it all out.
And for our listeners, what's a blank?
Oh yeah, blank is just like a blank shirt that you can print on.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, there's a ton. There's like literally like probably got 1,000 options that you can go through, and there's different makers all over the country. So you buy just like a blank T-shirt, and then put have again DTG or screen print your own logo on there, and then resell that, and that's how you kind of make your money with T-shirts.
Yeah, we've always heard that it's important to eat your own home cooking. So, like in terms of you wearing your own gear, like how often do you do that? Do you just like wear it daily when you're going out and about, or is it something like sporadic? Like you don't want to push your brand too much?
Yeah, it's a good point. And I try to wear it like all the time. Like for one, again, I pick all the designs, so I like all the shirts. But especially, yeah, if I'm like going to the gym and working out, or the other day, like for the first time in San Diego, someone like DM'd me and was like, I just saw someone wearing this shirt. And it was
Hmm.
me down in San Diego, but I got to go meet up with them and I gave them like a freebie. But that's the power in wearing your own stuff. Sometimes like you never know who's looking. Like I've been stopped in the airport before too, being like, hey, where'd you get that shirt? And I'm like,
Oh, wow.
funny you ask, I actually made it, like, so I mean, the moments are few and far between. I'm not trying to sound like extra cool, but yeah, when it does happen, it's like cool. Like I got to wear my own shirt, free marketing.
Do you like keep a stack of your shirts in like your car trunk in case somebody ever pulls up on you? You can just say, "Hell, I got one right here."
Yeah, I
Hey,
should.
man, I got you. Yeah.
I have not done that, but I'm getting closer. Like again, now that I'm doing more marketing and stuff, it seems like I'm getting more and more traction again. So I might start keeping some in there.
Now, what type of, you say marketing, what type of marketing are you doing? Is it more so advertising, or is it, something else?
Yeah, so I'm doing a few different things. My go-to when I started the company was like trying to just send out freebies to like smaller influencers, like
Mm.
people with like, maybe 5,000 followers to 10,000, send them a freebie and then maybe they'll post it on their story or their Instagram page. They tag me and then we get it, reposted on our page kind of thing. And then I've also paid influencers as well. Like they have like bigger followings, like 20, 50, 100K. Send them a shirt, some money, they'll post it. And like, their whole audience, will see it from there. And then I also have ran Instagram ads. And those for me are like, they're okay. They're great for generating like likes and comments and stuff like that. But it doesn't really translate into sales as much as getting in front of like the people that I want wearing my clothes. So like, generally, like I think you guys kind of
Yeah.
get the aesthetic here, like a lot of tattooed people, and I'm starting to go towards like MMA now. I sponsored kind of
Mm.
like my first fighter. Shout out to Austin Miller, and then I'm trying to get some like dirt bike riders on
Oh,
board now
nice.
too. Like, and that's just recreating like clothes that I used to wear when I was younger.
Oh, that's a great point that you kind of determine your niche of who you want to wear your shirt, the aesthetic that you're going for versus just kind of throwing, just seeing what sticks. So like in terms of influencers, have you actually got a good return on that? Like let's just say with the big influencers versus the small influencers, like which of the two do you really find that that's actually converting to sales?
Yeah, I would say I've used some bigger influencers recently, like within the past year, and like they alone, yeah, they can trigger a lot of good responses for sales and just like eyes. Like I partnered with one girl. Her Instagram is I think it's fucking peachy. She did like over 250,000 views just like on one post,
Wow.
Wow.
which for me in my business is crazy because like
That's
Right.
huge.
if I do a good post, it's like maybe 5,000. So yeah, she's like crushing those numbers. So yeah, like that to me is like very valuable just for like getting exposure.
Right. And so what does that run you? What's that cost to, the bigger influencers?
Um, it's funny because a lot of times like they don't even ask for money. I'll just kind of be like in my original message, I'll be like, hey, my name's Warren. I'm trying to grow this company. Here's like my shirts. If you like them, I'd love to work with you. And then I'll offer, I think it's like $100 or whatever, like, for a couple posts. And obviously they get some shirts too. So maybe with shipping and everything, maybe it's like, I don't know, maybe 150.
That's not bad at
It's
all.
not bad at all.
Yeah. And again, this is just different people. Sometimes people say no. Sometimes people don't respond. I've sent out freebies before and like just never heard back from the person.
Oh,
So like that
that's
doesn't happen very often,
unfortunate.
but you kind of, you don't really know what you're getting into sometimes.
So like Brian, he's been doing a lot of outreach, trying to get brands on board, and from what he's finding, a lot of it is a numbers game. So do you kind of find like, in order for you to get, let's just say, two people on board, you have to reach out to maybe 50, or?
Yeah, for sure. I still get left on red a lot, even though I pay for the little stupid check mark on Instagram now. So yeah, sometimes people are really quick and like they're people I want to work with and they're like really on it. And sometimes it's kind of like, I might work with this person, but like same thing, I'll send them email or message anyways, just to try and, create some conversations. So it's super hit or miss. And I wish I had like better numbers for you on how many I'm converting, but I don't keep track too closely.
Yeah, I find that, depending on the marketing that I'm doing, there should be some kind of correlation, where you're getting, if you do 100 reps, you send 100 messages or you send 100 emails, you should be at least getting 1%. And if you're not getting that one out of 100, then to me, something's wrong. You need to shift what you're doing, because it kind of goes back to like cold marketing, sending out newsletters to advertise stuff. It'll probably get about, I think they call it direct mail. You'll get about a 1% return on that. So I look at online marketing in a similar way. You got to get the reps up there to like 100, and then you should get one. If your product is really good or whatever you're pushing is really good, maybe you get 3, 4, or 5. But bottom line is you got to get those numbers up. You got to get the reps going, because to me, it is a numbers game, like Kevin said, and there's no shortcuts. You have to put the work in.
Yeah, definitely a lot of volume. That is for sure.
So like what about just developing a tribe, like having your customers be sticky, like okay, they buy once and they really like it so they buy again. Like how are you cultivating that audience who keeps on returning and buying? And are you also like creating a mailing list so that you have their contact information so that once they do buy, they're not just somebody that you never hear from them again?
Yeah, so that's another thing that I've been thinking about too. And it's hard for me because, like, for example, the mailing list, I hate being on mailing lists. Like, I hate getting spam mail. I hate spam
Yeah.
text. So I actually don't have people sign up for a mailing list when they come to me. However, when I'm like on ChatGPT or like trying to figure out like how to expand it, I always see mailing list on there. And every now and then I will say, like, even though I hate 99% of the mailing list, like I will see one every now and then, like from a company I like. And I'm like, maybe I will go check out their shirt sale today or whatever.
Right.
And then as far as like being sticky and like having customers come in, I've been trying just to be more transparent lately with like who I am and like how I'm running the company, and hopefully people vibe on that is kind of the angle I'm approaching. And then the other thing I would say is I shouldn't say always, but like I do throw in tons of free stuff. Like I'm always adding stickers, or anytime I've ever had complaints, which has been few and far between, I've always replaced people's shirts on time. And with my schedule, like, if I'm not on shift for 2 days, I'm sending stuff out like that. So as soon as I get an order, it's always out next day, unless I'm at work. So that's another thing too. So fast shipping, stickers, and just trying to be transparent with who I am and how I operate.
Nice.
Yeah.
In terms of marketing, something that I've just discovered is that people who just get out there, they just seem to get the results, versus like in our minds a lot of times we're like, oh, I don't want to be annoying, so I'm not going to send this message. I think I'm bothering them. But if you are bothering them, they're just going to ignore you, and that's about the same thing as not even sending a message.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I'm getting at with the reps. Like with marketing, you got to get those emails out. You got to get those LinkedIn messages, those Instagram messages, and just hit up. Like now I'm reaching out to clothing brands, hat brands, sunglass brands, just all different stuff like that, even jewelry, watch, just trying to see, who's game to actually advertise their stuff on our show. Because I found, like, I tried going at it in a money direction, saying, okay, let me give you a 10-second ad, pre-roll ad at the beginning of a show for $100. And no one was biting on it. So I said, you know what? Let me go back to, okay, do you want to feature your hat, or do you want to feature your chain or your pair of sunglasses or your shirt? And I'm finding success with that versus the money route. So I think from doing what I'm doing now, which is kind of free advertising for different brands, that's going to then lead to sales because advertisers that are watching your podcast, your show, they're going to see, oh, wow, okay, Brian's, advertising this hat today, or, Kevin has this shirt on today. Oh, interesting. Let me go check out that company. I think that will start to flow the more I do the outreach and the more I get people on like you, where you're pushing your brand out there. You want marketing, you want sponsorship, you want people to know about your product.
I think it's like if you think about McDonald's, they're probably the highest selling burger company out there, but they're still advertising. So you know
Right.
there's something about getting your stuff in front of people. So I think, yeah, there's something that you just have to commit to regularly. And it's kind of like planting a tree. Like you might not always get the result immediately, but you keep doing it, then eventually down the line it snowballs and now your stuff is just blowing up.
Yeah, dude, I love the McDonald's reference because, like, when you think about it, it's funny because if you were to say what your favorite burger is, like, you're not going to put McDonald's on there, but they are the most well-known burgers, right? And that's from marketing. And yeah, everyone knows McDonald's, right? But like your favorite burger joint down the street, maybe only your little town knows about, right? So
Right.
No, that is crazy to me. Like, like Sally's Burgers is like 50 times better than McDonald's, but the line is always wrapped around McDonald's. So it's like I think you just have to be good enough in terms of
right,
product quality, and everything else is advertising.
yeah, and the McFlurry machine's always broken, so it's like
Yeah.
they don't even have working equipment. And they're still number one.
I've heard they've gotten really expensive. I haven't been there in a long time, but
I
you
haven't
know,
been in a while either, honestly.
Well,
But
I know like Wendy's, I've been going to Wendy's since I was a kid. There's no more value menu. There's no more dollar menu. I used to go, used to call it the 420 meal. It was $4 and then 20 cents tax. I would get a junior bacon cheeseburger, 4-piece nugget, small fry, small frosty, $4 and 20 cents out the door. Now, the best you can do is you can get like a $6.50 biggie bag at Wendy's, where you get a junior bacon, a fry, a nugget, and then a drink. No frosty. They don't let you they don't let you do the frosty. But yeah, no, I think fast food has gotten really expensive in the past 5-10 years, say.
yeah, in terms of like just pricing, how do you determine like, okay, I want to develop something quality, but I don't want to make something that's so expensive that I can't sell it. Like, sometimes as artists, we want to put out the best possible product, but we can't always afford that. So like, when do you know when to dial it back and say, okay, this is good enough?
that is a great question. And I essentially am always analyzing like my competition or companies that I want to be like, because I'm the same way. Like I want to make cool products that's like, it lasts good, doesn't wash out. I take a lot of pride in that. But I also don't want to price gouge at all, because I remember being a kid and being like $30 t-shirt. Like I would never, like I would just go to Walmart. But some of the brands that I liked, I would think the opposite for. I'm like, yeah, I'm happy to like pay and support like riders that I would see wearing the shirt and things like that. So I don't know, it's kind of a two-way street, but essentially, yeah, I'm just always looking at my market competition, I would say.
So in terms of competitors, like who are some of the brands that you like, and what are some of the things that you've taken from them and you started applying to your own brand?
Some brands that I really like right now is like kind of people that I like on Instagram that I want to support. So one is called American Blue Collar, and the guy's Instagram is like Johnny Tsunami, and he's just like always on his Instagram talking. So it's like a big reason I bought shirts from them recently was because I got to like see him and how he interacts. And, a lot of times, like when you buy stuff, it's because you want to support the person making it, or maybe who they sponsor, right? That's why people sponsor
Yeah.
people and writers and,
Right.
celebrities, whatever. So that was a big reason why, because I saw him, I liked him, and they have like, I wouldn't say similar artwork to us, but Some of it does overlap a little bit. So it's shirts that I already like and would wear. And that's kind of like, that's a perfect example, I think, of someone who I'm looking to support these days.
Have you ever reached out to any of your competitors to kind of talk shop and strategy? Like, oh, how did you do X, Y, and Z? Or do you think it's like, since they're a quote unquote competitor, they're not going to put you on?
No, I definitely have. And that's because like, if anyone were to message me, like I'm always happy to talk because like, for one, I don't have all the answers. And two, like I'm not that big of a company.
Right.
And I also just don't believe in like trying to like, I don't know, big dog or like act like you're cool, I guess. So I have messaged companies around me that were like same thing, the 2020 like e-commerce time, but then they ended up shutting down. So I messaged them. I'm like, dang, like what happened? Like what's going on? Like what were you guys doing
Right.
for printing? You know, what was your overhead? And a lot of times, yeah, that's kind of what it was like during COVID. I think people, and this is the hard part with clothing is they take on like a huge overhead. You take on a lot of inventory and then you struggle to move it. So then you're just sitting on like, you know, $1,000, but it's, you know, converted into printed shirts. So if people don't want it, like you're not getting that money back. Oh, and then, yeah, the last thing I'll say too is like when I was coming up, well, I shouldn't say that, I haven't made it, but when I was trying to get my business going, I did message one company who I'm not going to repeat who it is on here. Not that it's that big of a deal, but they just, yeah, they had like an Instagram Q&A and I was like, what are like 3 things that I could do to get my company going? And he was like, oh no, mate, if you got to ask, like, you don't know, you shouldn't even start. And I was like, okay, well, like, fuck you then.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Thanks.
can I cuss on here? Hopefully.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. So I was like, screw you, dude. Like you know, so anyways, again, I'm getting long winded. I'm sorry, but yeah, I'm more than happy to talk with anyone. And I have messaged other people too. I think it's good for people to, you know, converse and communicate. And I think it's good at the end of the day.
So like, what phase are you really focused on like right now? Like, okay, I'm really focused more on the marketing or I'm more focused on the artistic side. Like, what are you really pushing at this current moment?
Yeah, I would say marketing. I'm really big on marketing right now and trying to keep the momentum going. So I kind of already explained, like just in the past, like I've had good runs, but then I let it die. You know, I don't have like a fall line or like, you know, in 2023, when I got hired on the fire department, I didn't do like any posting for like a year and a half. So it's really hard to build momentum. So now I have like ads running. I have like some partners I'm working with on Instagram. I'm doing live pop-up events. So I have all this stuff going and like things are starting to pick up again, which is really nice. So I'm really just trying to focus on marketing and just like, I think it's true with any company. And that's the key word is momentum. You have to keep that up.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I've been seeing, just because I've been reaching out to so many different brands and checking out, you know, different types of brands, a lot of them will do something where they'll do like, they call it like a weekly drop or a once monthly drop. They'll have a new product. They let you know, okay, it's going to come out on June 18th. And then, you know, they'd post the picture of it or whatever on the 18th with the link. Okay, yeah, go to the website, place your orders. And then the next month or the next week, they do the same thing again. Okay, they post, you know, the new one. It's linked to their website or Shopify or however you're trying to sell it. So have you tried that type of approach yet or not? Not so much.
No, not really, because I can't really afford to have new artwork every week to come out. And the way that I'm printing now, like it's all bulk ordered and ships in a couple weeks. So I guess I could do like a monthly thing. And I have thought about that because another brand I like a lot right now is it's called DBK, Dirt Bike Kids. And I think they do like weekly releases. But again, that's a lot of overhead and those guys are moving a lot of products, so they could do that.
I've had a friend, she started on like clothing shop and you know, one of the things you have to do on social media is have people model your clothing. And you know, I know that may not always be the easiest experience. Sometimes the model doesn't show up or they're not the, you know, what you see in the picture they send you, they show up, they don't look anything like that. Like, have you had any
Yeah.
experiences working with people modeling your clothes that were good and some that were not so good? Like, can you explain some of those stories?
Yeah, of course. Most of my experiences have been really good. Like that's the cool thing with social media. I've been like very selective of who I want to work with and who I want representing my stuff. I've only had a couple cases where there was one man and one woman who like I sent stuff to, and I just never heard from again. Like they just took my stuff. One girl I like followed up with, and I was super professional and polite. I was like, hey, like I'm spending a lot of money doing this. I really appreciate if you want, you could send it back. I'll even pay for the shipping label. And she blocked me. So I was like, yeah. So she took my stuff and like kind of ran. And
wow.
These are really few and far between. Like, again, I would say like 90% of my experiences have been really great. And the people that I work with they're actually really cool. And some of them I still like talk to this day that I worked with from like 6 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So kind of like little friendships built along the way. So yeah, it's mostly good.
Oh, that's awesome. So like, have you been able to get your clothing into any stores? Let's just say Macy's, Walmart, Dillard's, or any of those type of stores?
No, I haven't done that yet, but I am looking into doing more wholesaling. So same thing, like I buy shirts cheap, and then you kind of, how it works is you would give like a store like a hookup on the price, and then they sell it at like the retail value. So I am looking to get more into like moto shops and breweries. That's going to be my next step. Like again, stuff where I like going, like catch me getting a beer on my off days, and I love motorcycles. So yeah, those make sense to me. And then maybe further down the road, maybe I'd end up somewhere bigger, like like a Macy's or Walmart. I mean, I don't shop at those stores, somewhere else, but like something as big as that name, maybe,
Yeah. And actually, Kevin rides motorcycles.
Oh, no way. All right.
Yeah, I got like 3.
Do you ride dirt bikes or street bikes or both?
More street bikes. I got Ninja 500, Triumph Tiger Sport 660, and Suzuki GSX 8S.
Sweet. All right. When I lived down in San Diego, I didn't have a car. I only had a street bike for a while. I was making some bad choices, but yeah, I was like full time. You could do this in San Diego, but I had a FZ6, the Yamaha like Super Sport. Yeah, a little 600, and I didn't have a car for like, I don't know, probably 2 years. So when it rained, it sucked, but luckily it didn't rain that much.
I was just gonna say, like, I live in LA. It would rain like, I don't know, 4 or 5 times a year.
Yeah.
Like, no joke. Yeah.
It worked out good for me. I just had a backpack. Whatever could fit in there is what I'm taking.
Yeah, that's how you got to do it. In California, it's the perfect weather because, like, motorcycles, they multiply the weather. Like, if it's hot, it's really hot. If it's cold, it's really cold because you're like slamming into the elements. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, but motorcycling can be dangerous. So, like, is that what made you give it up?
No, I think I used the money to finally get an actual car again because I was sick of, like just always being, exposed to the elements, I couldn't afford both at the time. This is before I got locked into my career and whatnot. So I finally got rid of my street bike and locked back into an actual vehicle. I got a little truck.
Yeah, like as fun as motorcycles are, they're better when they're a toy. Like you can just ride them at your leisure versus your only mode of transportation. Because
totally
right.
Yeah, and now I just have a dirt bike, and obviously I don't know if we were talking about this pre-podcast or on here, but yeah, my wife and I just had a little one, so I have a dirt bike, but I just don't have time to ride it. So.
I know. Go ahead, Brian. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, you mentioned you just had a kid like 4 or 5 months ago. Is that right?
4 months ago. Yeah.
Congrats, man.
Yeah. Thank you guys. It's been really cool, really fun. I got a good partner. She makes it really easy. So.
No, it's got to be exciting. Like when they're that old, you just look into their eyes and you're like, wow, I wish I could see the world in that fresh, new way that the baby is looking at everything, like just taking everything in.
Yeah.
And whereas us, we're like older and jaded, and it's like, I'm bored of this. Let me see the next thing.
Yeah, it's a great point. She's seeing a lot of stuff for the first time, like every day, when we leave the house. So it's pretty cool to see.
I know having kids, it really makes you focus too, because it's not just you anymore. And, this person's completely dependent on you. Like you can't just be like, oh, this ain't working. You go do your thing now.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a whole nother thing to think about, and like, it's a lot, but at the same time, it's like you get super inspired to go do cool stuff. And I think that maybe is kind of tandem of why I'm doing, this clothing thing, making a big push with this again.
Yeah, do you feel like that this is like kind of like part of your legacy? Like once this really blows up, now I got something to hand down to my kids, so they won't necessarily have to, work a job that they don't like.
Yeah, totally. Like I love like a big challenge. I love hard things. Like I think that was a big reason why I chose a career like in the fire service is because it's actually pretty competitive to get a job. So yeah, things like that I like. And same thing now with clothing, it's like even harder because anyone and everyone has a clothing brand of some sort. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, to like stand out and actually get some sales is definitely a challenge.
Like just to ask one more question about the clothing brand. Like what you said, you've been picking up momentum, sales have been increasing. Like what's been working for you?
Yeah, it's so hard to, and also feel free to ask as many questions about clothing or whatever you guys want as well. I'm super open to whatever. And it's really hard to put a finger down sometimes on what is working because a lot of times I'll do like 10 different things at once. So I don't
Yeah.
know exactly what the return is. So like I've been posting a lot more on social media. I've been doing videos, which I'm sure, I think I even heard one of you guys on your podcast. Like I think we kind of all hate the sound of our own voice, but
Yeah.
I'm making more videos, putting myself out there more. So there's that. And then I'm running ads on Instagram and I have stuff out to some like influencer partner people. So like just right before I sat down with this, I had a shirt sale, like, you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't
Oh
know where
wow.
that came from, but like, it is cool because again, when I'm not posting and stuff, I go weeks at a time without any sales, but now it's like things are starting to pick up and like, yeah, every time I'm looking at my phone, I shouldn't say every time, but I'm starting to pick my phone up more now and be like, oh, cool. Like there's an abandoned cart or someone actually did order. So that's what I kind of mean. Like the momentum's going again. But this is the hardest part with companies is like capturing that because I have a big
Right.
launch that I've been like pushing for today, but I have to have something following this now, right? And then you get the snowball effect.
Exactly. So like just to shift a little bit to go back into firefighting, me riding motorcycles, I know it's an inherently dangerous thing to do, just as
Yeah.
firefighting is. Like
Yeah.
even when I pulled up, when I was buying my first motorcycles, all the dealerships I went to, there's somebody that's like kind of crippled there, like oh they broke their leg or their arm is messed up, and it all came from riding a bike. So you have to kind of
Yeah.
accept there's danger with it. Like how did you mentally accept what comes with firefighting?
Um, I think a big part of it, like for firefighting specifically, like I chose it, I think be kind of, or excuse me, because of a lot of those reasons. So the same thing with the motorcycle, like you kind of know there's risk doing certain things, but that's also what makes it really fun, you know? So like
Right.
we don't get a lot of house fires these days. Like there are certain cities that do, but for the most of the US, like things are just way safer. You know, there's better smoke alarms, all these things. So when you actually do get a fire, you get like that adrenaline rush and you get to like go do, because we spend most of our year like drilling, right? Like we're kind of getting ready for like the big show. So when it finally comes out, like you get that rush and you get to go work with, go work with the boys. And yeah, like it's so tiring, dude. Like firefighting is like one of the most tiring things I've done. Like I went into the job thinking I was in good shape, but there's some dogs that work on my department and I think they got like a third lung or something. But just the whole thing, like it's the adrenaline, it's the rush, and then like you're just surrounded by a bunch of like good people that are really motivated to do work. So it kind of makes you like up your game.
Have you ever saved like a kid or a baby or a dog, or do you have
No, I
any
haven't.
stories like that?
No, not really. I've got some cats out of a tree, but I think it's kind of funny because like it's like the classic like people will call us and be like, "Yeah, can you get my cat out of a tree?" So
Can you
like
get my
I
cat?
have
Yeah.
actually got some cats, but as far as like any other grabs, no, I haven't. My department has, but yeah, like other departments like Memphis or like Chicago is probably happening like I don't know every week, but not
I
not
see.
here.
And you said you were in Boise, Idaho. Is that right?
That is correct. Yeah, I was gonna try and keep it on the DL just so people don't like hunt me down or whatever, but
Oh,
it's all right.
So that's interesting that you kind of mentioned that you haven't necessarily had to do too much crazy stuff on the job, and like I think that's the interesting thing. Like with me being a programmer, a lot of times you think, oh, I'm gonna work on this super cool stuff when you get into the industry, but no, you're working at a bank creating forms that people fill out, and send their tax information. It's not that exciting. So like, just to avoid the tedium of the job, like how do you keep things exciting when things aren't moving, things aren't breaking?
Yeah, I think it just comes back to like the teamwork aspect. So like even if we're not catching like a big ripper that you're hoping for, like most of our job is actually running medicals, and I don't know if you guys know that. Sometimes you run into people that don't, but like 70% of our calls are medical related
Oh,
or
wow.
more, really. So yeah, like we stay busy just like training, honestly, because we have so many different skills that we have to be on top of. Medical calls, we do public assist too. So like getting a cat out of a tree to like lockouts of a car. Sometimes fire alarms are going off at schools or businesses. We go reset those. Auto accidents, obviously house fires, commercial fires, grass fires, we go on. So there's just so much stuff. So basically, like if things aren't really ever mundane, because we're either like training on doing a new skill, or we're actually just running a call and like practicing it. So yeah, the best example I was given was like when I was on probation, somebody was telling me it's kind of like a job where like you're like spinning on all these plates, on sticks. So like as soon as something slows down, you have to go spinning again, because it's just like any skill. If you're not working on it, you're gonna forget it.
Exactly.
So I know like AI, that's the hot topic of the day. I've even seen like now trucks being completely driven by AI, like diesel trucks, or you see the Waymos going around. Like, do you see that affecting the firefighting business? Let's just say, do you think there'll ever be an automated fire truck that shoots the water by itself?
Yeah, I guess down the road, yeah, it's got to, right? It seems like everything's going to be automated to like a certain degree, but I don't think it's going to happen in our lifetime. But yeah, maybe if a few more generations down the road, there might be some kind of robot that can go inside with the hose or something.
Right. There'll be like the robot with all the gear on, kind of like RoboCop, but the firefighter version.
Yeah, exactly. And I've actually heard of departments. I don't know who exactly, but like when they're going to fire calls or medicals, they send a drone out. So it'll go get like a
Oh, wow.
360, an aerial 360 view of like a fire. And you'd be like, yeah, there it is. Like it's, it vented out through like the Charlie side or something. Like, so people know what they're getting into before they even get to the scene.
That's amazing.
So yeah, and those are automated. So yeah, we do have some automation in the fire service now.
I know, especially for policemen, I can see like robots. Maybe there's somebody holed up in a building somewhere. So instead of sending a human in, they send a robot to go in first and potentially take the bullets. So
Yeah.
I just watched a documentary the other day where like, yeah, they sent a robot down into a crawl space, and I think they ended up like, yeah, taking out this, I don't know, killer with a robot. So yeah, it's happening.
like, did you like, let's just say in the 90s, did you foresee like us actually being able to live this kind of thing that we only saw in movies, like robots walking the street, AI everywhere?
I don't know. That's a good question. I was a kid in the 90s, so I probably not even like early 2000s. Like, yeah, I didn't think it would be progressing this fast. It's just wild to see. Like, I use ChatGPT like every day.
Oh, wow.
I know, right? I'm guilty.
What do you mainly use it for? Because I know has many uses.
Honestly, just like I use it more as like Google now. Like instead of
Okay.
going into Google, I just get like an answer on ChatGPT, and if I need like more clarification, I'm like, hey, explain this more. I use it for my business a little bit, just for like, hey, what are some ideas for some content I could put on the Instagram today?
Do
And it'll
you
just like,
ever like cross-reference that with Gemini or Claude?
no, I should. I've heard a lot of good things about Claude, but I haven't used it yet.
That's crazy what AI has been capable of. And it's kind of weird. Like 4 or 5 years ago, we didn't really hear about it. Then, over a period of 3 years, now it's just everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah, there's no escaping it, right? So I'll be curious once it starts taking like actual jobs, like human jobs, because that seems like that's like right around the corner, right? For like coders and I don't
I think
know.
it's already happening, like with programming, like a junior web developer, someone
Right.
who's entry level, 0 to like, let's say 0 to 3 years experience with JavaScript or something like that. a lot of that stuff Claude can just do. You know, a lot of the basic kind of scaffolding or, you know, the setup, the framework and all that. You know, these AI bots can do a lot of this stuff that the junior would be doing. So I feel like a lot of juniors are either getting let go or the position is just kind of drying up. And then you just have the senior developer that oversees the AI. What, you know, whatever the code they generate,
Right.
the senior dev will then go through that and say, okay, no, this is good, that's not good. Let's use this, let's not use that, and that kind of a thing.
I know a lot of people using AI to generate artwork. Are you opposed to generating AI artwork and throwing it on your shirt, or are you fine with that as well?
No, I'm gonna fight it, man. I don't want any AI artwork. Like, I think that I have plugged it in before just to see what I could make, but I really like the artists I work with, and I'd rather have like a custom piece and keep that going. But again, it's like I think inevitably, like people are going to be using AI. Like people are just going to remove one piece of the puzzle for clothing brands and
Whatever's
music
cheaper,
art,
right?
posters. Yeah, I mean, it's here.
Yeah, I think that's a good point because, like you say, I'm gonna work with this guy to create a design, and he probably ends up using AI. He just doesn't tell you, like, oh, I created this 2
Right.
days, like $500.
Yeah, $500.
So
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we're living it.
that was interesting times. For my final question, where do you want to take your brand? Let's just say the next 5 years. And Brian, you can go after me with your final question.
Sure.
Ooh, brand in the next 5 years, like, I don't know. I'm really bad at planning ahead, I guess. But 5 years from now, I'd like to be making a dent, maybe inspiring some other people to make some clothing. And hopefully I'll be sponsoring some cool like dirt bike riders and MMA fighters.
Awesome. And Brian, did you have a final question?
Yeah, I guess what I'd be wondering just for our listeners, maybe people, you know, the younger generation, kids that are in high school, maybe just getting into college, thinking about, you know what, I might actually want to, you know, become a firefighter. What would you say to them to prepare them for the job, or ultimately, you know, what is the thing that would make someone say, okay, definitely yes, or definitely no?
Yeah, I would say the two biggest things is, good life experience. I would say it's not uncommon for someone to be hired, mid 20s to like early 30s. So construction backgrounds go really good. EMS, like EMT, paramedic, wildland fire, that goes a long way. The second part of that I would say is get really good at interviewing. The interview is like your key to getting hired, and you can call like your local department. And a lot of times people are cool, and they'll meet up with you and help you do like a mock interview.
Oh,
They'll
wow.
give you some do's or don'ts. And there's also classes you could take too, because it's very competitive. You might have like 1,000+ people competing for 20 or less spots. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Awesome, man. We're at the top of the hour. Awesome show, man. We got into a lot of different things. Before we get out of here, did you want to leave our audience with any closing thoughts? And where's the best place for them to find you and your brand?
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you so much for having me on here. Never done a podcast before, so hopefully I didn't say or like too much. I'll have to listen back and make sure. You can find all of our clothing on Tuff Luck, TuffLuck.us, and we're on Instagram as Tuff Luck Apparel. So you can follow us on there. Those are kind of like my two big ones for now. And just thank you guys so much. It's really cool to come be a part of this.
Yeah, awesome, man. We really appreciate your time.
It was an absolute pleasure. We'll have to get you back and see your progress.
Hey, all right, there we go. Yeah, I like that. Well, hey, thank you guys again very much. It was an honor.
Yeah, we appreciate you, and we appreciate everybody for tuning in. We'll catch y'all next time.
Thanks, guys.